Okay, we'll call the greetings to everyone. We'll have called the meeting to order at this time. At this time, we will have the invocation by Director Garnier. Who's doing the invocation? Okay. Okay, I guess we'll have the invocation by me. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father, we ask you for your divine guidance as we're assembled here tonight, and as we go through the agenda and as we address and hear the concerns and plan for this great county, God, Rockdale County. We ask your guidance, we ask your wisdom, and we ask that whatever we do or say, that we do it together in unity for the building up of our county. Bless all those here, bless our families, bless all assembled. And we ask all of these in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next for the termination of the quorum, we'll do a roll call. Okay, for the roll call, we have Dr. John Lee Peterson Jr. I'm here. We have Danny Forrester, Forrester. Here. Okay. Ernestine Stovall, Goolsby. Okay. Okay. And Melissa Yancey? Yeah. Okay. All right. And absent, we have, okay. Okay.
Angelique McClendon here.
Okay. Okay. Next, we have the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, before you approve the agenda, one of our cases the applicant has asked to defer his case until next month. So we'd like to make that amendment on the agenda. Okay. And that is case REZ 2025-04.
Okay. All right.
A motion that the new agenda be approved.
We need a second on the motions on the floor that the agenda be approved. Those that agree is signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. It's passed. Okay. So the next is approval of the minutes.
There is a slight correction from the agenda. Was the members present from last month? That is Danny Forrester and not Danny Lester. So we are updated and we'll make that correction.
Okay.
Is there any other verbiage that needs to be corrected?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So, we need to make a motion that the minutes be approved, it's read, or be approved. Approval of the minutes.
I move that last month's minutes be approved.
All that agree signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. The approval of the minutes is passed. Okay. The next, the rules of procedure for public hearing.
Each speaker must sign their name to the appropriate notation and fill out a public comment card to register their intent to speak prior to the start of this meeting. Each item of business shall be handled in order that it appears on the agenda, unless upon motion of the Planning Commission, the order is changed. A member of the planning staff will present each item to the Planning Commission and will further provide recommendation upon each item of business. The zoning applicant or the agent will state their name and address at the podium and will have 10 minutes in which to make his or her presentation. Any portion of their 10 minutes may be reserved for rebuttal following the opposition to the application. After the applicant's presentation, all registered speakers who wish to speak in favor of the application will then be heard. Prior to speaking upon the item, each registered speaker will state their name and address at the podium. They will also be limited to a total of 10 minutes. Once the applicant has made his or her presentation and the speakers in favor of the application have been heard, the secretary will then call upon the registered speakers in opposition of the application. The opposition shall likewise be limited to a total of 10 minutes. Once the public hearing portion is closed, no other speakers will be heard. As a reminder, speakers are to address the Planning Commission, not the applicant or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers shall be permitted. After all public comments have been heard, the Planning Commission may elect to hold general discussion. The Planning Commission will vote upon a recommendation that will continue forward to the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners public hearings.
Okay, we're now, before we move into our new business,
Each speaker
oh, I'm sorry. Are we done? Okay. Before we move into our new business, I would like to recognize Ms. Ernestine Stovall Goolsby. She has arrived. Okay, we will move into our new business. The first item on the agenda is item R1, FLU 2052-02 and REZ 2025-01.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. And to the Planning Commission member, welcome, and to our first hearing as a group. So the first case is FLU 2025-02 and REZ 2025-01, and we'll do these two together. The property address for this is Gees Mill Road and Northeast McCart Road, and the applicant is Tyler Lasser. This is a 49.08 acre undeveloped property, which composed of 4 parcels. The applicant is asking to amend the future land use map category of 3 of the parcels, from Technology Park to medium density residential. One of the parcel is already medium density, so that is why they're only asking for 3. The applicant is also requesting to rezone the parcels from AR, agricultural residential, to CRS, collaborative residential subdivision, to allow the property to be developed with 81 lots for a single-family residential subdivision. This is our future land use map, which shows the parcels indicated by the stars. And as I've said earlier, 3 are technology park and 1 is already medium density. And this is our zoning map showing that the property is currently zoned AR. And the surrounding areas are AR and R1. This is the proposed plan for the subdivision that the applicant is asking to build. It is showing 81 single-family residential lots at a minimum of 10,000 square feet. 54 of those lots are front entries, 27 are side entries, which is indicated by the red circles around those lots, which will be side entries. The unit prices start from low 400,000, and they're offering a 16.2 acre total green space. The amenities that will be included would be a walking trail with connectivity, dog parks, that central park there to the bottom, and all the green spaces that they are proposing. There'll be a total of 348 parking spaces, including amenity parking and handicap parking spaces. And there will be 1 proposed access point to the subdivision. All our reviews were received from our internal technical reviewers and external technical reviewers, and from fire, the proposed layout with the appropriate road width, fire hydrant spacing, and no parking signage is acceptable for them. Board of Education, there is no current impact, no negative impact on the high school and middle school. However, they believe that this subdivision will negatively impact the elementary school system because they have already reached their capacity. And this will maybe cause the need for mobile units to be added to the school site. Stormwater, they have said once everything is done and they're into the land development stage, they will have more information on this. Transportation requires a deceleration lane, and street light layout is required while the subdivision is being built. Water and sewer, there is water and sewer available at the property site, but the developer was required to do a downstream analysis, which they have done, and water and sewer has approved that already. So based on the evaluation of the request and all the information that they have provided to us, staff has recommended approval for the future land use amendment and approval with 8 conditions for the rezoning request. So those are the recommendations which were in the packets, if you guys have gone through them. And if you have any questions for me or staff, we're here to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question. The elementary school, is there any particular elementary school that they're referring to?
It's the Conyers is it Conyers Middle School or Elementary School?
Who's in that area?
Yeah, it's Conyers Middle School, actually.
Middle school, okay.
The middle school.
And there are already trailers there.
Yeah, they're up to capacity right now.
You know how many there are?
It is there somewhere in the packet. I can find that for you.
Okay.
So, it's the elementary, which is Hightower.
Hightower.
Elementary.
Okay.
So that is already to capacity.
Okay.
Current capacity or current amount they have is 762, and the capacity is actually 700.
Okay.
So that is 100% filled. The middle school is currently they have 932 students. Capacity is 1,242.
Okay.
The high school currently 1,382. Capacity is 1,500.
Okay.
So right
And
now
just
it's
elementary.
the middle school,
The elementary school.
the
Hightower.
elementary
Yeah,
school. I'm
Hightower.
sorry, that
Okay.
is to capacity right now.
And it doesn't say how many trailers, I guess, how many, I don't know,
They wouldn't have given the amount of trailers that they
Trailers.
would need yet until they know how many.
But how many do they have? Do they ever indicate how many they currently have?
No,
Okay.
I don't think they have any currently.
Oh,
They're saying that with the added
They would
amount
have to
of
have some.
students, they may
Okay.
need to get some.
I just wanted to make the point that we got to be mindful that there's development in the area, that this is not taken into account of the number of students that's already in the school system. So it may be exceed capacity at the point when all development is complete within the area.
Right.
Just want to be
Right.
mindful of that.
And they're one of our reviewers, and they've done all our cases. So they go through the cases and give us the information that is available at the time.
Yeah.
And if you notice in the other cases, they'll say roughly the same thing on some of them. Which one is up to capacity, which one is over, and so they have the numbers
Yeah, based on the current.
based on current. Yes,
Just be mindful of that.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, so the applicant is here, and they'll be able to present, and you will be able to ask them any other questions that you may have. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Alex Mitchum, LJA Engineering, representing the client of Blue River. Appreciate the staff and their thorough analysis of this, and I really do appreciate staff. We came before this, well, it wasn't this planning board, it was another one before y'all got seated here, and we requested tabling so we could try to address some of the comments and some of the that we met with staff on as far as transportation, water, sewer, things of that nature, which we've been able to do the downstream analysis, as she mentioned, for sewer, which we came back and we will, it is at capacity, we'll meet capacity there, so shouldn't be any issues. Again, we came with a different plan, and we've kind of massaged this a little bit. We start off with more lots than what you have before you tonight. We're at 81. Sorry. Anybody hear me okay? All right, thanks. Sorry about that. I have that kind of voice that kind of, blow you back sometimes if I speak too loud, so I apologize. That comes from my mother telling me to be quiet. So anyway, as I was saying, so we have 81 lots before you tonight, and staff, we work well with staff, trying to get a good mix of how many front entry units and also side entry, blend in with more green space, open space, and connecting those parks, which you see in your packet there. So I think we're at like 16 acres or so. So a third of this property is going to be conservation or open space or usable open space, if you will. Property's a little bit irregular shaped. As you see, it's kind of a narrow neck as it comes off of the road there. So that will be landscaped and planted all the way through. So you until you get back to the balance of the property. Also, McCart Road. We're using part of the old McCart Road in there as far as the access, and where it turns gravel, so it hasn't been maintained for a long time, but we're going to integrate that into the walking trail that goes around the perimeter of the property and connect that with our other parks and also the sidewalks and like that. So we really feel like it's taking care of some of the sensitive features on this property. It's a beautiful piece of property, and we've tried to design that along with staff's input, protect a lot of those features on the property with this development. Again, I think she did a very thorough job laying it out, so I'll be happy to answer any questions, or I'll reserve the rest of my time for rebuttal, if any.
Do you have any other developments within the county?
Our client does, yes, ma'am, and my firm has done some. We work for all the major developers, builders in the metro area. So,
Because just name, if it's a similar, what you're developing, is it something similar in the county that we could just review and see, get an eye for, feel for what?
I would say this is unique.
I mean, as far as front footage of the housing or anything like that, do you have any pictures like that?
For my client right now, I don't know that answer.
Okay.
I'd say the price points, as you mentioned, will be starting in the low fours and moving up. There were some elevations we submitted in our packet to show some of the quality of developments with the architectural treatments that are customary, plus what the conditions of zoning are on here that they would adhere to.
Okay.
So, but this is unique in terms of this style of development because of the amount of open space that they're proposing here would be something that, and I guess that was the ongoing conversation with staff is to propose something that, one, was compatible with the area, but also was unique and met the intent of the ordinance, and that that way we can meet the expectations that the county would have for us.
I do think that was a good point. Is there, I guess you might not know specifics about the other developments, but if you have general examples, that would help. I think the point is to like visualize some finished product.
Which ones do you like?
That's sort of what we're trying to get at, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. And that's the intent is to meet your expectation.
Right.
What is expected of us? As long as we know that, my client, that's the bar that we're gonna hit that point.
Because it sounds good, but if you said, we worked on that subdivision on
Yes,
Smyrna
ma'am.
Road called such and such, we'd be like, okay, that's great, or that actually doesn't meet these standards that you're saying. So
Sure.
I think that's where, I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah,
that's.
Blue
if
River's a
that's
quality
where she's going.
developer, and their partners, what they build there, they have no problem meeting the standards. They build all over the Atlanta metro area, and so they understand.
Okay, which counties can't you reference that they actually built into that's adjacent to Rockdale County or close by Rockdale County?
Gwinnett, Fulton, DeKalb.
Do you know of a
name-
subdivision? I'm just
Not off the top of my head, no, ma'am, I
you
don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I work on the engineering side. I'm not the builder, so I do. This is what I do. So.
Yeah, because normally we have, when they come in and speak, they just show us pictures of what they're planning or considering for
Yes, ma'am.
planning.
I hope I come back before you, and I'll make sure I bring you some stuff.
That'd be nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't see anything that pertains to, excuse me, but has there been any consideration with entry point into the subdivision as far as traffic lighting, or is there a stop sign, a dog leg that'll be built to get into the
Yes, ma'am. We
subdivision?
weren't required to do a traffic impact study at this point for this many lots. However, it's been something we've been very sensitive to. I'm glad you brought that up. In this time that we had tabled originally so we could meet with the different staff and departments, one of the issues was line of sight. And we were actively working to get easement agreements from adjacent adjoining property owners so that we could maintain the right-of-way so that it would not create an issue. So you could see to the right or to the left as you come up to this area. But again, if things move forward, if this moves forward, if it's required to do a traffic impact study, we would do that to make sure there was no issues. And there will be recommendations in that study that what would be appropriate there. And of course, we would adhere to that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a question. Again, going back to the fact that I know that most times when new subdivisions come into the area, there's a concern about the value of the other houses and whether those houses coming into the subdivision are going to be comparable I'm sorry. Thank you. And about the value, a lot of homeowners are concerned about the value of their homes and how this is going to impact their homes' value.
Yes, sir. I mean, I agree. I mean, it's always a sensitive topic when you come and present these things. It's not meant to displace or impact negatively anybody's value. And that's what, again, find that compatibility. You know, homes in this area, that's the mark that we would try to hit some of the newer developments that are adjacent from this property, actually, close to it. That would be the starting point for what they would want to bring in here. Also, this property, again, the compatibility word keeps coming up. That's what we thought it made more sense to do the future land use amendment, because industrial in this area may not be exactly what the right mix in this area, because it is predominantly residential. So that's what we want to do the same thing. So the recent developments in that area, and forgive me, I don't know off the top of my head the names of them, but that would be similar to what we want to do here. Point Royal. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So we didn't have anyone signed up to speak against this case. So you can do your discussion and.
I have a question for you. I just noticed on a lot of the things that are being proposed tonight, there were conditions that were similar to what conditions you want them to do based on to approve it. And I was wondering, because the city, they actually did, where they went in and they modified and did what standards that they were requesting the builders that was coming into Rockdale County to meet. And has it ever been thought of from the county perspective, instead of making these conditions based on approval, to actually have a stipulation requirement that they're actually met if they wanted to build in Rockdale County, like grass space, utilization of sidewalk, just defines, when I go through here, they're basically the same. And I was just wondering, when will Rockdale County go in and modify the requirements to build in Rockdale County?
Where that is concerned, I'll let Director speak in a second, but we have been talking to this team consistently. So we have collaborated and make sure that they're bringing in a product that we like the side entries and the different types of elevations and different types of models. So he didn't speak of that, but they're going to be doing different type model homes and with the side entries. So that is why the recommendations are not too in-depth, because we met it at the front. So we've had a lot of meetings with them just to make sure that they bring us something that we like. And I'll let Director speak on that as well.
Good afternoon. Just to give a highlight of this, what you're seeing before you on the screen, for instance, as was mentioned, staff has worked diligently with this actual site plan, and I'll get to the design standards as I go through. But what you're seeing before you actually is not the original design. In terms of the green space where you see that green, the Central Park, that was something that staff actually worked with this developer on as one of the ways to do the design of this layout. That center strip, doing the connectivity from the Central Park to the actual pocket park in the back that connects to the trail. And there's a trail that actually goes around this particular development. There's a dog park on your southeast back corner of this development. But in terms of your question regarding different standards for homes in the future going forward, as you know, we are working on a UDO, so those will be some things that we will be addressing in this UDO rewrite.
Okay.
So we have given consideration to those, like architectural features of the different homes and things of that nature. So we will be looking at those items.
Okay, anybody have any more questions? Okay.
I apologize, we're just gonna be upfront. I've been on the board previous, and all these are new members, and we just sitting here just walking through some things, and he's just asked us, what's the next step, and so we're at the position now where we're going to make a motion to deny or approve the current, request that is before us. And so that's what we're gonna do at this point. So just make a motion to deny.
Just make sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing else from the commissioners. I'd like to make a motion to, thank you, to pass FLU 2025-02 and REZ 205-01.
Okay. The motion has been to pass this item of new business. Are there all in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Second. It's been seconded, and the item is passed.
You have to make a record that those
Oh.
who are in denial.
Any opposed? Nay. I'm
Opposed.
sorry. You opposed?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason I oppose because I think it should be more information brought forth to make a decision on. At this juncture, I would feel, based on what I can feel comfortable with, I would feel that I would have to have more information to change it, because I'm not seeing what I see. I'm not seeing what's being developed by now. It was going from agriculture. They now on an acre lot, and they're going to have an acre lot, and there's a lot of work in the area that they're going to develop, and I don't know how it's going to impact. And Rockdale County is a small county, and we have to be very careful about how we utilize the land. So that, considering that, mine is to not.
Okay, we do have one opposition to this motion. Are there any more or oppositions
Any discussion?
in discussion? Okay.
I mean,
I'm sorry, you need to state the motion again clearly, and
Okay.
then have the discussion, then you vote.
Okay, so there's been an opposition to the motion, to the item R1 FLU 2025-02 and REZ 202501. And y'all, excuse me, I am new. I've got to get my Robert's Rule of order back. Yes. And so this is there any more oppositions to this motion? Or
I am so sorry, but what's the motion? Is it to approve or to deny?
so is it for, we need to make a motion for approval?
It's time for discussion, because
Okay.
I
Okay.
motion to approve, she motion to deny.
Okay, so let's open for discussion.
No, you got a motion whether it's to approve, and then you have the discussion whether,
any discussion?
So that's, right now, the motion is for the approval.
Yes.
So that's what I asked
Right, and then we had the
before.
second.
Right.
So it's, can I entertain a motion, then
Okay.
it's,
So do we have a
Then it's
second?
any discussion, and then the votes.
Okay.
So there can be a denial, it doesn't have to be,
Right. There has been, I understand that part. Okay? So, for discussion,
okay, who made the motion? Your
She
motion
made
is
the
to
motion.
Approve.
approve?
Yes.
Can we have a second?
second,
I'll be the second.
Second?
yes,
Now you're open for discussion.
discussion. Okay.
Already discussed.
She's-
Okay.
So,
she
and then,
has
so
a-
her statement can be the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
that
And
was-
then we take the vote.
So let's vote on this item. All those that approve of this item, let's signify by saying aye. Those that oppose, nay.
Nay.
Okay, the ayes has carried, and this motion is approved. Okay, let's move to the next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is R2 REZ 2025-04. 05, I'm sorry.
Cheat sheet.
Okay. So as I had indicated earlier, this case, the applicant had asked to defer this case to next month. So we will just go to item number 3, REZ 2025-05. This is on Southeast Parker Road. The applicant is Danny Herman. This is a 2.72 acre property that is currently split zoned into C1 and C2, local commercial and general commercial. The applicant is asking to rezone the 1.327 acre of the property that is currently zoned C2 to C1 to allow for the development of an assisted living facility. That's the zone in there for the property. It's not currently showing on our maps that it has a split zoning right now, but it was rezoned last year sometime. And this is the future land use map showing that it's commercial. So on this property, if I go back to the zoning, it's bordered by C1 and C2 zonings, which the developments are a plumbing company and Lowe's Hardware. The site itself is asking or is proposing to have the facility, which proposes one access point. The assisted living facility will have 82 total units, 64 assisted living units, and 18 memory care units. The first floor will have 26,782 heated space, and the second floor almost the same. So it will have a total of 53,240 square feet of heated space. They'll have a 3-shift system with first shift up to 14 employees, second up to 12, and third 5 employees. They will provide courtyards on both floors and proposed 20-foot wide front landscape strip and proposed 10-foot wide side landscape strip. The technical reviews from all internal and external reviewers, stormwater, or let's start from fire, propose that the layout is acceptable and it allows for complete access around the building, which is a benefit in the event of emergency. Board of Education, it has no impact because it's commercial. Stormwater, based on the submitted zoning documents, there are no known environmental impact. Transportation, they have a few concerns. The concrete apron as well as a sidewalk will need to be removed and reconstructed, they said. 165-foot long pull-off turnaround area located immediately after the concrete apron should be shown on their site plan moving forward, and the turn arrow pavement markings should also be added to the plans and install on site to ensure proper delineation and usage of the deceleration lane. Water and sewer, water main is at the site, but public wastewater is located on adjacent private property, so a private easement will be required, which I believe the applicant is trying to get at the moment. So based on the evaluation of everything that was presented to us, staff is recommending approval with 11 conditions and of the rezoning. And just to let you guys know, this property was rezoned last year. That's why we have the split zoning. So they're just trying to go back to their original zoning to build the assisted living. If you have any questions for staff, I'm here to answer anything you may have, or the applicant is here to present his case.
I'd like to hear from
You have a question?
Is this the other acre to be rezoned? Does it have any structures on it currently?
No, it's undeveloped.
Okay.
Any other question? No?
No.
Okay, we'll get Mr. Herman.
Good evening, I'm Danny Herman, living at 4983 Rabbit Farm Road, Loganville. As she said, last year we was going in with a different use that required two zonings, C1 and C2. Since there is no zoning classification for C2 for assisted living and memory care, there is for C1, so we're switching it back. We're switching it back to C1 to fit the classification that's in C1 for senior assisted living. And we've done a market study. The market study shows very strongly for this type of use. There's been no new assisted living memory care in the last 20 years. And there's none on the north side. So we're very excited about the location with the market study showing the need for assisted living memory care. Like she said, we do have a 52,240 square feet with 84,000 square feet of courtyard, open courtyard. But we can bring them into the courtyard and have some events which will be outside for fresh air. And what we do is we have sidewalks around where they can walk around, got it fenced completely.
Come a little closer to the mic.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So it'll be completely fenced. Front will be a wrought iron with columns. There'll be wrought iron on the west side and the east side. So it'll be completely fenced and secured for our senior.
I think
We have a
people are
management company.
indicating they still have some problems hearing you. I don't know if you could.
Yes. Can you
Okay.
speak up a little
Just a little
louder?
I'll try.
Tilt it towards you.
Move the mic.
How about now?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
better.
That's better.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, if we just do this, because you might slip back into that, then if you could.
Right. Okay, so we've looked at the staff's recommendations for conditions, and we approve them. And we have been talking with DOT, matter of fact, up to today, and we have the surveyor out checking the site distance to get they're okay on that. So we do have an agreement with Lowe's next door to get into the manhole. As soon as we get the zone and show the site plan has been approved, then they will approve us to tie into the sewer. So We got all utilities. We got a great site. We agree with the transportation conditions. So if there's any other questions you have, I'll be glad to answer.
You said it was 5,000 square feet, right? The development is
52,000,
52,000.
53,
How many parking spaces do you have? Because you have
38 parking spaces, 4 handicap. And
Because I'm like,
it
just-
meets the ordinance. The ordinance requires like 27 and 2 handicap. We're over the ordinance.
So, okay, because we're not thinking of the people living there that will have transportation. We're only thinking about the staff, employees, the staff.
Yeah,
that come
we
and
did
visit.
very,
Because, I mean, I was just wondering, it seemed to be a large facility. It's only 13 parking spaces.
well, the memory care doesn't drive at all. We have transportation service for the people, and so there's very few residents driving. And then the only ones that would have most of these are medical professionals and do combined driving back and forth. So we feel like we have sufficient. We have a management company that has 6 operations and they feel good about it.
Based on her question, and this being a 3-level, 3-floor building, staff could be up to 14 on level 1, up to 12 on level 2, and up to 5 on level 3. That's 31.
That's shifts. That's shifts.
That's shifting.
Yeah, that's different shifts.
So that's 3 shifts, yes, but if it's that many employees per shift, right? So on those, you have 13 parking spots, yes?
Say that
You
again.
were saying you had 13 parking
He
spots?
said 30, I think, 27 or 30.
Sound like
You
you
got
said
38,
38 parking spots.
38
Okay,
for handicap.
because that is,
The code requires,
Okay.
27 and 2.
okay.
I know it's tight, but we feel good about it.
Okay, are there any more?
I have some questions. So
Okay.
I'm with Miss Stovall Goolsby, and can you? I would have liked to seen some renderings, just kind of to imagine how the property would look. I mean, so that would be helpful. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Now, do you have more questions? Because I mean, what you stated was, and I have aging parents in the county, so it's good to know that there would be facilities that might be useful
Good.
to that population. But that being said, I do have some questions about, and you mentioned some green space. That's necessary. Can you go into more detail about the type of security you might have at the facility,
Well,
especially it being memory care and things like that?
memory care is totally secure. It's lockable.
Right.
They can't get in and get out. They have to have supervision.
Okay. So is there, and when you say locked, I mean, I'm assuming there's some sort of surveillance type of technology to get in and out other than just a key. Thank you. Okay. And for the assisted living piece, are there other amenities, on property? Okay. Oh, if you can go back to the microphone, I'll pass these down if anybody else wants to see them. And it's in the packet.
Yeah.
Inside we have a chapel, library, multi-purpose room with a theater room, wellness room, therapy. I mean, we've got all the activities. There'll be a daily happy hour for wine with it. So that's just an hour long. So.
All right. Thank you.
You seem to be knowledgeable. Have you developed any other such property like this somewhere?
I sold
local?
something like this.
You sold
This
some?
would be my first joint venture with the manager.
Developing. Is it any reason why you won't develop the entire 2 acres instead of just 1.3? Why you're only developing the 1.3 acre?
No, I'm developing the whole tract.
But-
2.69.
Yeah, but only 1.3 goes to the.
We'll just
It's
change
just the
it.
whole thing is.
It's
you're
a
just
split
changing that, but-
zoning.
Did you? I'm just asking for my own. This is presented when they did the car wash. Was they going to do a car? Okay, that's all right.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, there's There's no more questions, no more discussion. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I wanted to ask one more question for the department. In addition to the recommendations listed above, is it a requirement how much security is on site for this type of assisted living? Is it a mandate based on the county? It's not. Because, I mean, is there another assisted living facility in the county?
I'm sorry.
Is there another assisted living facility in the county? There is?
There's several.
There's several. Because, you know, I just wanted to know, just if we could have some kind of requirement for security, you know, being.
Per the UDO, there's no such requirement for security. That would be a private venture as to how many security they have.
Not just the fact that you want some. It's not a mandate that they have to have so many, but just something, you know.
Well, that could be a recommendation
That's what
for
I'm
new
That's
UDO
what I'm
that we rewrite it. Yes.
If you just, you know, say that it's required that you have security on the premises, you know, during the entire day, I mean.
We're
for the
making
other-
note of that.
I like that suggestion.
I think
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
no, that'd
Any
be
more
all.
questions? We would anyone like to entertain a motion? Would like to for
I'll make a motion to approve rezoning requirement 2025-05. In addition to making that approval recommendation, I wanted to include the recommendation number 12, the security requirement, and I would like to propose that as an approval.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Okay. Are there any discussion? This item? Any more discussion? Okay. If there's no more discussion, then we'll take a vote on this item. All in favor of this item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, thank you. This item is approved. Okay, next on the agenda is item R4, excuse me, REZ 2025-06.
Yes, that's correct. So this is on the property of Southwest Smyrna Road and Flat Shoals Road and Still Meadow Road. And the applicant is Rebecca Haynes. This property is a 53.32 acre lot, and they're asking to be rezoned from R1 single family residential to CRS collaborative residential subdivision for a 94 lot single family residential subdivision. The property is bordered by single family residences and a place of worship. And the future land use is medium density. The site is proposing to be developed with a single-family residential community with 94 lots at a minimum of 10,000 square feet. The density of 1.89 units per acre. Code allows up to 3.1 units per acre. They're proposing sidewalks on both sides of the internal streets, 50-foot wide transitional buffer, 2 access points to the community, one on Flat Shoals Road and one on Smyrna Road. And there will be 18.19 acres of open space. The recreation area will include community garden, dog park, nature trails, play field, and pickleball courts. Our technical reviewers came back with fire, no opposition to this project. Board of Education, the school system is concerned again with the combination of other approved residential development. Enrollment numbers will cause larger classes or larger class sizes and possibly the introduction of mobile classrooms. So going back to the previous case, stormwater, based on the submitted rezoning documents, there are existing state water, wetlands, and Rockdale County future floodplain requirements that must be adhered to. Transportation, there needs to be a streetlight layout that must be submitted prior to the issuance of building permits. Additionally, the developer is responsible for all costs associated with the installation and maintenance of street lighting system in coordination with the utility service provider. Water and sewer, there is water and sewer available at the project site. The developer or the representative will need to perform a downstream analysis to determine the capacity of existing sewer system to accept the proposed flow. And the developer will be responsible for the sewer system improvements identified in the analysis. Based on all the documentation and the site plan and the information that was brought to us, staff is recommending approval with conditions of the request to rezone from R1 to CRS on this development. If you have any questions for staff?
So I do see that one of the conditions is that the homeowners association include a rental restriction of 5% of all the dwelling units.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the conditions the staff has recommended is a rental restriction of 5%. Is that a common thing? And it's really not necessarily for this particular item, but I have seen some, there have been news articles about corporations owning neighborhoods and the whole neighborhood's up for rent. I've seen some new subdivisions where they're not even for purchase, they're just for rent. So it seems like that's something that staff takes into consideration. Is that something that's common that you all
Yes,
consider?
we want to make sure that it's not just all for rent, that it's mostly homeowners. So that will help with the maintenance of the property and the homes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, if you have no other question, the applicant is here and will present their case to you.
Hey, I'm Rebecca Haynes, and I work with the church, Rockdale Baptist Church, that owns the majority of the property that we are proposing to be rezoned. So I am representing them in the proposal for this being rezoned to CRS. As a church, we're in the business of growing our population and spreading the gospel in Rockdale County. We understand that by no means we don't expect that everybody that surrounds our church is going to come to our church, but we do want to make a community near our church that we people could potentially even walk to church. So if you see in the rendering, it backs up to the church ball fields as well as the church parking lot. In this development, we do have sidewalks that go around the whole development as well as coming up behind into the church parking lot as well, that they could potentially walk to church if they so choose. This also has the opportunity for the church to be able to expand into the community even further. One thing I did want to note is that the future land use map shows the location to be medium use residential, and what we are proposing will net us 1.89, as she said earlier, 1.89 units per acre instead of what is actually allowed for the CRS zoning. One thing also, the rent restriction that the county is proposing putting on the deed restriction, we are also as a church in favor of that, making it primarily single-family residential homes, not rented homes, being 5%. That doesn't allow for many homes to be able to be rented out as leases. And let me look at my notes. I apologize. This is my first time as well doing this. So I'm a little bit nervous, so please forgive me for that. One thing I would also note is that our proposed open area, we are proposing it to be 18.19 acres, which is 34% of the project area with a lot of green space, as well as, like mentioned before, community garden, dog park, pickleball fields, play fields. We want this to be not just a neighborhood, but a community where homeowners can occupy the space that is around it, the natural settings, leaving those, of course, intact. And the other thing I wanted to say is that our church family wants to thank you for considering this and bringing it up today. And we're excited about the opportunity to create a family-focused community. Even so much to the name of the project would be Shepherd's Crossing. So we wanted to kind of incorporate that as well into the community.
Please, we cannot applause. Please hold your applause. Thank you. Okay.
Is that it? Do I answer questions or?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one up to speak is Mr. Billy Moss. And Ms. Rebecca Hayes was in favor of the.
She's
Okay. Okay. Mr. Billy Moss is in favor of.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Billy Moss, and I get the privilege to be the pastor at Rockdale Baptist Church. And I reiterate everything that Mrs. Haynes just shared. We have about 15 of our members here tonight, and just wanted to share that we are very much in favor of this and are thrilled about the possibility of new people being right there around our church that could possibly come and be a part of our congregation. So thank you so much. And we are very much in favor of this.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Sandra Winthorpe. I can't read this here. It's okay. All right. Thank you. And she's in opposition. Sorry, I just couldn't make out.
You got two nervous. Hi, my name is Sandra Weatherly Richardson. I reside at 1569 Bordeaux Lane in Conyers, Georgia. And I am very much opposed to this, and I ask that you be opposed to it as well. Sorry, church.
Please, excuse me, we ask that there be no applaud or no comment, please.
Okay.
You can go ahead and proceed.
Okay. In preparing for my remarks this afternoon, I first started by trying to grasp how many subdivisions have been built in our county in the past 2 years, 2.5 years, how many apartment buildings, how many townhomes. It's a big number. I couldn't quite capture it all, but then it dawned on me that you know better than I how much building has taken place in this county. So I'm going to speak on what I do know. I'm not surprised that this particular project will have an impact on our educational system. I remember distinctly my granddaughter attending school, 2nd grade, in a trailer because we could not accommodate her in a classroom. That's what happens when there is growth without an infrastructure impact study and infrastructure resources towards, the growth of a particular community. We all like growth, sure, it's exciting, but when that growth takes place without thoughtful consideration to the citizens of that county, it's a lose-lose situation. You just approved 82 units for an assisted living facility. You just approved 85 additional units. Let me tell you what happens personally to the citizens when you have growth but you don't have infrastructure. October of last year, I presented to the emergency department. I was admitted. For 2 days, I was in the emergency department because there was no bed available for me, okay? It was cold, it was noisy, there was no food, no routine food delivery. I was just stuck there. Emotionally, I wanted to be angry at Rockdale Hospital, but I couldn't be. Intellectually, I knew I couldn't be because guess what? They have to treat every patient that presents to them. So when we continue to build new homes and build new subdivisions and build new apartments, this particular project, they're talking about 94 homes on half-acre lots. Those are children that have to be educated. Those are parents that have to deliver at those local hospitals and the senior citizens facilities, assisted living facility. Those are patients that are gonna have to be treated at our hospitals. But Rockdale they're not expanding. We're expanding out here, but the infrastructure isn't expanding. So I ask you to seriously consider that. I would ask you also, before you approve this project, look at the land. It's one thing looking at the map, but if you look at it, you'll see that there are single-family homes surrounded by trees. There's a cemetery. Where's the cemetery going to be? Where are the houses going to be in relation to that cemetery? Please take a look at this plot of land because it is not large. It is misshapen. Yes, there's a church there, but beyond that, it's just single-family homes. I ask you again to please oppose this project. Thank you so much.
Okay, reminder, please be cognizant of the fact that asking you do not applaud. We are, due to time constraint and also in respect of others and others' opinion, we want to keep the decorum in this meeting. So we're asking you, please do not applaud and make comments. Okay, the next speaker up is Jeff Coleman, and he is in opposition to this item.
Okay, afternoon. I am Jeff Coleman. I'm a HOA president for the Lionsgate East subdivision, and that is the subdivision right across from this planned subdivision on Flat Shoals Road. We have a concern because I feel like it's going to affect my quality of life. I want the board to take a 20,000-foot look at all the projects that are being done or proposed or that have been approved, just like Sandra said, because we got to look at the whole picture of what's being done in Rockdale County and in the area where we live. We have a concern about the traffic. We have a concern about the schools. We have a concern about the hospitals. We have a concern about all the services that are being offered in our area. And those services are going to be affected. There are 4-way stop signs along the route that are being proposed here. Those 4-way stop signs cannot handle the additional traffic. When the biolab incident happened and I-20 was shut down, all that traffic was rerouted through our area. That 4-way stop sign was a mess. All those 4-way stop signs had traffic in them, and folks already don't stop at the stop signs. And there's several accidents at those stop signs. So we are concerned about that. We are concerned about the additional garbage trucks that are going to be coming through the area on Flat Shoals Road. That's a 2-lane road. There's a stop sign. The additional school buses that have to come through there, there's a 2-lane road. 4-way stop signs. The 4-way stop signs cannot handle the additional traffic. I saw on the map or on the proposal that they are talking about an additional stoplight, there's already a stoplight there where the Smyrna Road splits. If you put an additional stoplight there for their entrance, that's going to be more congested traffic. That means more traffic is going to have to stop along Smyrna Road. So there's going to be additional traffic. There's a median right there where Smyrna Road splits. What's going to happen to that median? Is that median going to have to disappear? That road going to have to get smaller? Or what's going to happen to that median? Because that road splits, and I think that's where the proposed entrance for that subdivision is going to happen. Or if not, again, additional traffic is going to come through there. So we are concerned about that. And just like Sandra said, the hospitals, the Lowe's, the Publix, the additional grocery stores and all that, we're talking about more people. We understand about growth. We want growth. We want the additional things to come into Rockdale County, but none of that stuff has been planned. None of that stuff has been planned. Yeah, we can bring all these additional people in. We're going to congest the area where we live, and we just don't want that to happen. Yeah, we're concerned about our property values as well, but I'm concerned about the additional people that are going to be in that area, additional cars. And you're going to hear some other concerns as well, and everybody's going to have just about the same concern. We don't want to stop progress in Rockdale County. We don't want to stop the building. We want it to be thoughtful. We want it to be thoughtful. There's already a subdivision being built down not too far from this area where this proposed site is. There's already a subdivision that's been developed. I don't know how many homes are going to be in there, but again, you're talking about additional traffic that is going to be on that road, additional traffic of folks trying to get on I-20, additional services that are going to have to be provided to these subdivisions. I enjoy Rockdale County Sheriff Department coming through our subdivision twice a day. With these additional subdivisions that are coming up, we may not get that. They're doing that now because the area that they have to cover is not as large. But now we're adding these additional subdivisions in. We may not get that. Now, is that going to be a big deal? No, but I still enjoy it because it provides some safety for me when I see the sheriff department come through twice a day in our subdivision. I don't know if that's going to be affected. I saw where they said that there are two entrances that are going to be for this subdivision. The entrance of concern for us is the one that's going to be on flat shows. They need two entrances. We have 62 homes in our subdivisions. We only have one entrance. And we do just fine with one entrance. If you eliminate that entrance on flat shows, then that would eliminate that traffic on that 2-lane road and also that 4-way stop. Okay, if you approve this, let's look at probably not putting that entrance on flat shows. Okay, if you approve this. But again, I understand about growth, and I understand these folks want to build their subdivision, and I understand about the church want to increase their membership and all that good stuff. But we got to be thoughtful, and we got to be considerate of the big picture here, and we got to look at all the services that are going to be provided to all these subdivisions and how it's going to hinder traffic in this area. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next person up is Ms. Lindsay Sterling for comment. And she's in opposition. And you have 1 minute.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
My name is Lindsay Sterling, ladies and gentlemen, and my husband and I have lived on Flat Shoals Road for almost 25 years. I can tell you a bit about the land they're proposing to develop because it is the land between us and Rockdale Baptist Church, where, by the way, my daughter went to preschool. By the time she got to Heritage High School, she was in a trailer, and that was 6 years ago. Behind us is 40 acres of woods. We used to have deer, we haven't had those so more. We have a heron who comes to our pond, we have kingfishers, we have red-tailed hawks, we have possums, chipmunks, all of the wildlife you can imagine, and we can see it right out through our window, but it's been getting less and less. That subdivision that's going up around the corner, that's another 181 houses. Right now, I looked at Zillow this morning, there are 493 single-family homes on the market today in Rockdale. Looking at your agenda today, that's another 1,000 or so homes you're already looking at. The cars, just from this one little village, which I appreciate they want to grow their congregation. Of course they do, congregations are falling. But is a Southern Baptist village in the middle of Rockdale really what the county needs? I'm an officer of the juvenile court. I say we need something for teenagers. We don't need to be chopping down the few woods that we have remaining and getting rid of the little wildlife we have remaining and increasing our light pollution. The traffic, the application that Ms. Haynes made is, there's a lot of it that's simply not true, as we've seen from the technical specifications. There isn't the water capacity. They haven't found that out yet. The traffic, that is certainly going to be affected. Her application says that they'll put in a right turn lane. That's not enough for another couple of hundred cars. The hospitals, we've heard about that from the other lady. We've suffered that myself from my own family. Please, ladies and gentlemen, finally, the most important point I'd like to say is that I understand that on May the 30th, the Department of Planning and Zoning announced that Rockdale County had been awarded a grant for housing assessment by the Atlanta Regional Commission. This grant is to be used, and I quote, so that Rockdale may better understand local housing needs and future community development. Well, you only got that on May the 30th, so it can't have been done yet. Please, ladies and gentlemen, can we do the assessment first before we build yet another subdivision, and one that is entirely here to benefit one church in the county? Thank you.
All right, thank you. One more? Okay. Okay. We have 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining. The next person up to speak is Mr. Alan P. Long for comment. You have 1 minute and 55 seconds. And he's in opposition. Thank you.
Yes, opposition. Alan Long, 2404 Twin Creek Court. I live downstream from this new development, and I do oppose the development. I have lots of friends who go to Rockdale Baptist, but unfortunately we're on opposite ends here. The housing density is just not compatible with what's around us. There are several homes in this area who have wells, and if this property is clear-cut, not sure what impact that will be on those wells. We talk about traffic. You talk about 90-something homes, 3 people per house. How many cars does that provide? It's going to be a jungle out there, lots of traffic, lots of wrecks. Saw one this afternoon in Ebenezer and Flat Shoals. So I encourage you to look at this. There's just too much at stake here for our subdivisions in that area, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I believe the applicant had some time if she wants to use it for rebuttal.
I think I should, there's a minute left. I'm listening to speak in opposition. I should
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And did you all sign up?
Okay. Okay, you're David. Okay.
My name is David Irwin, IRWIN. I live at 1200 Steel Meadow Road. I've lived there my family and I have lived there for over 30 years. If this development goes through, I would be looking at the back of houses, which is okay, I understand that. I have a well. I'm worried about what the development's gonna do. This is Rockdale County. There will be rock there, there will be dynamite blasting, and I don't know what it's gonna do to my well or to my foundation. The planning and zoning has put together a 50-foot natural buffer, which is very nice, but I want some restrictions if it goes through, that buffer cannot be disturbed during construction, not just strip it down and then put up new trees. That's number one. We just need less density. If it goes through, reduce the number of houses. This RSA is a new invention that planners have, which is nice, but it puts two houses on an acre of land, packs them together, and it's like open up a can of sardines. I love sardines. However, enough's enough. And all the neighbors on Steel Meadow, all of them who've been there for years are opposed to this as well. My neighbors are.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that time's up for this item on the agenda. Rebecca? Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Rebecca
Haynes, I just wanted
Yes.
to give a rebuttal to some of the concerns that were brought up. One thing I wanted to bring up was that we are within the future use of, that has already been approved for future use plans, and keeping it at under 2 per acre as a whole, 1.89 units per acre. As far as the traffic study, we did have a traffic study done on the property, and there is no traffic light. I know that was brought up. There is no traffic light proposed for this. You have lights coming all the way from I-20 to the property, as well as the 2 entrances does help with that traffic flowing in and out. And as stated before, on Flat Shoals Road, there is a right into the property as well as a right into the development, as well as a right out of the development. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, the cemetery. The cemetery is not being affected in any way. This development does not encroach on any of that property. You can see it on the map. We also have a rendering here, but where the cemetery is not affected by this development, it is still in place, as well as the light that was brought up with the intersection right there at Flat Shoals and Smyrna Road. I think that was, Wilson said something. And yes, there are stop signs as far as no light is going up, no additional light.
Okay.
I have
Thank
a question for the applicant. Is this the first time your congregation has tried to grow the congregation, or is there any other efforts that's been put
There are
forward?
lots of efforts. That's a great question. There are lots of efforts to be able to not only grow the congregation, but also serve the community. We do several events throughout the year. In the fall time, we do fall festivals, trying to invite people in, and we have a great turnout from the community for events like that. We do around the Easter holiday in the springtime. We do an Easter egg hunt for the community to be able to get families in and to be able to provide something. Sorry, yes?
Yes. Just want to remind everyone that we have to stay what's germane to the item on the agenda.
Okay.
Our time is...
Sorry, I was just answering. My bad.
Okay.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because I just, besides trying to create a development, so there appears to be opposition to it, what else is taking place to grow the congregation? If that's one of the things that you're doing, the development for is to grow the congregation. What other efforts have taken place to grow the congregation? So
You're talking about the development?
other things outside the development to
I
grow
see.
the congregation. That's what I was asking.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to extend the time due to the fact that there are 2 more people in here that's in opposition to this item. So we'll have Ms. Brenda Lavelle come at this time. Thank you.
I'm Kay Mackey. I'm speaking for Brenda Lavelle because she's out of town and asked me to read this for her. It's short. Brenda Lavelle, 1395 Smyrna Road Southwest. And she writes, my parents and I moved to Smyrna Road over 35 years ago. When they needed additional help, I sold my home and moved in with them 13 years ago. And my plan is to reside in Rockdale County for many more years. My house is in front of the triangle where Smyrna Road and Ebenezer Road split. Traffic has continued to increase in this area. An additional 94-lot subdivision will only make matters worse. Cars speed down Smyrna Road, and I'm in fear that the car following so close will not be able to stop when I make a right turn into my driveway. Drivers even blow the horn because I've caused them to slow down. For many years, I have experienced drainage issues in my backyard from the adjoining property, and I'm concerned that this will only get worse if land is cleared for a new development. For the reasons noted above, I strongly oppose rezoning from R1 to CRS. This subdivision will increase traffic on surrounding roads, which are already congested. Also, this subdivision will not conform to lot sizes of surrounding properties. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then we'll have Mr. Bob Nesbitt. He's also opposed to this item. You can go ahead and speak.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to come and speak before you. I appreciate extending the time. And I do want to mention that all of us live in Rockdale. We moved to Rockdale for a purpose. We didn't move to Atlanta. We didn't move to Gwinnett. We didn't move to DeKalb. We came to Rockdale for the quality of life that we have here in Rockdale. I live in Lionsgate East. We have homes in Lionsgate East that are right across the street that are knocking on the door of $1 million. Matter of fact, everybody that's from Lionsgate, would y'all please stand or raise your hand?
You can't do that.
All right, I apologize. I just want you to know we're here, because many of us couldn't even get in. We got locked out. They wouldn't even let us in. But the thing is that we need to look at many things, because there should have been an impact study done. The impact study would have first looked at crime, would have looked at fire, would have looked at schools, and I know they did mention that, but it would have looked at water. One of the things is that we have a lake directly behind our subdivision. We lie below where this building is. When they build these houses up, that's going to increase the flow of water that's going to drain onto our properties. And we already have issues where we're catching water in our basement from the drain off. This is going to increase that drain off. We need to look at how it's going to affect stormwater, traffic, medical facilities. How is it going to affect our neighborhoods in general, and the quality and the price of life that we have and the price of our homes? When you look at this, you're supposed to have a master plan for the county. You're asking for a zoning change which goes against the master plan. It's supposed to be consistent with your comprehensive plan. Have you looked at the plan? How is it affecting that plan? You have to adhere to surrounding properties. You have to consider not only just this subdivision and a church who wants to worship here. While they worship, we have to live here. So that's the major consideration. We have to look at the infrastructure limitation, which everyone has spoken about. We have a 2-lane road, and now you're going to add another 300 or 400 people coming on a 2-lane road with a 4-way stop. I don't want to live there. That's going to cause many of us to change and say we need to move out of Rockdale or sell our properties, because it's not conducive to having the quality of life that we moved here for. What the other consideration you have to look at is spot zoning concerns. When you look at a comprehensive plan, you don't just look at one particular spot, you look at the entirety of how it's going to surround. On the other side that we have on, I believe it's Klondike, we have people that have 50 and 60 acre estates. We sit where we have much properties where we're knocking at $1 million, and this is going to bring down the values for what we have invested in. We have to look at community opposition. How is it going to affect all the things that we have in our community and how we oppose it? Also, the environmental. This is going to be huge when you start to add hundreds of people to an area where we're looking at large estates for the homes that we have, and now you want to bring in different homes, which these people, if they're in a $400,000 home and we're in $1 million home, they're going to be looking at our properties, and it's going to increase crime and things in our neighborhood that we don't desire and we don't want.
Thank you. Time is up.
All right, I appreciate the time, but please, we are opposed to it. We need you to understand that the people that live there do not want this. Not the people that worship there, no disrespect to them, but those who live there are opposed to this because it will change our life. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that's it for all of the comments. Okay. So we're discussion at this time. We're okay. Discussion.
As far as the traffic flow and sewer drainage.
Questions?
Just right there.
I mean, just entertain a motion
It's a lot right now.
of some sort.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and entertain a motion for this item. Okay, if someone would like to make a motion.
I make a motion regarding rezoning 2025-06. I make a motion to deny. I make a motion to deny because of the number of upcoming residentials within the area that haven't been developed. We don't know for sure how they're going to impact the neighborhoods. It's not that I'm totally opposed to the church developing this community, but it's too much uncertainty, too much unknown, too much, the vision is not clear for Rockdale right now. I think it's a bad time for it. I think you should personally reconsider that at a later date. So therefore, I make a motion to deny.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion, and it's for denial of this item, and a second. Are there any further discussion? Okay, then we will go ahead and vote on this item. All in favor of this item, you could state aye.
All those in favor of denying the
All in
motion.
favor of denial?
Aye.
Okay, all right, and all in favor of the motion? Okay, so we are going to, all that oppose? Okay,
Did everybody speak?
did everyone speak? Everyone
Yes.
spoke?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So,
Yes, for clarity, there's a motion to deny.
there's a motion to deny.
A
Yes.
second.
And it was seconded, yes. Yes. Okay, so let's have the vote again for the record. All in oppose of this motion? Okay.
All those
Okay.
deny.
All those that deny the motion? Thank you all
No,
for.
no.
All in favor?
All in favor of
Of the
denial.
denial, yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
I get it. Just learning. All opposed? Okay. Okay, the motion carries for denial of this item. Okay?
Since there's another one, we still have to go through this one as well tonight.
Yes, we gotta go through this one on Iris Drive. And then we gotta do this is like, we gotta do this. This is like plat approval, it approves plats, 2 plats. So,
This is the one I was putting out.
I'm totally against, I'm for you to deny this one, too. I'm sorry. Right up front, but whatever.
Okay.
You're doing good. It's stressful, but you're doing good.
Okay.
We just got one more like this. It's gonna be another one. Then the other 2 just
So we
plat
have
approval.
this one.
The Iris Drive.
Number- Thank you. Thank you all
Iris.
for y'all help. I appreciate it.
The Iris Drive, and then the 2 plat approvals.
It's the, yep, that one and then these two.
All right.
Okay. The next,
So the next case is REZ 2025-07, and this is on Southwest Iris Drive. The applicant is Olmsted Properties, LLC, and Battle Law PC.
yeah. I can't hear.
This is 8.79 acres property, and the applicant is asking to rezone the property from C2 General Commercial to RM Residential Multifamily for a 70-unit townhome community. The subject property is C2 and is surrounded by townhomes on all 3 sides, east, south, and west. The future land use is mixed use employment center The site map shows the outlay of what they're proposing. And the site is proposing to be developed with a 70-unit townhome community. Sidewalks are proposed on both sides of the internal streets. No transitional buffer is required because of the same zoning that exists. Recreation areas include a community gathering area, a dog park, 2 and 3 bedroom units with a price point in the low to mid 300s. 140 residential parking spaces, which is up to code. The site is proposing 18 guest parking spaces. However, code requires 3.
It's an Amber Alert.
Yes. Okay. So code, however, requires 23 guest parking spaces, and that is going to be one of our recommendations, or one of our conditions in our recommendations. The internal and external reviews were received from all our reviewers. And fire department, the project does not have a negative impact on the fire department. The visitor parking spaces illustration allows the safe passage of emergency vehicles. The parking illustration paired with no parking fire lane signs throughout will lessen the chances of cars parking on the street and decrease street width for emergency vehicles. The Board of Education, they have some concerns, again, with the combination of all the approved residential properties or residential developments. Enrollment numbers will cause larger classes and sizes, and possibly the introduction of mobile classrooms. So that seemed to be the general thing for the education department. Stormwater, based on the submitted rezoning documents, there are existing state waters and wetlands requirements that must be adhered to by federal, state, and county ordinances. Transportation, the developer must provide a street light layout approved by the appropriate department prior to obtaining any building permits. And water and sewer, there is water and sewer available at the project site. The developer or representative will need to perform a downstream analysis to determine the capacity of the existing sewer system to accept the proposed flow. Developer will be responsible for the sewer system improvements identified in the analysis. And with that being said, the staff has done the evaluation of all the documents and plans that have been received, and we are recommending approval with 11 conditions of the request to rezone from C2 to RM. And the 11 conditions are in your packet, and if you have any questions for me, I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. No.
Will they automatically move up the number of guest parking if y'all require that? Will that automatically be done?
Yes, once it's in the stipulations or the recommended conditions, if this case is approved by the board, then they will have to adhere to the recommended conditions.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? No? Well, we have the applicant here to present his case.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. I hope you're doing well this evening. My name is Josh Mahoney, and I'm an attorney at Battle Law PC, which is at 3562 Habersham at Northlake in Tucker, Georgia. And I'm here this evening speaking on behalf of the applicant for the proposed rezoning for property off Irish Drive from C2 to RM. Now, you've heard a little bit about our project already. My presentation that I have for you this evening is very short, and it does cover a lot of the ground that the planning staff covered with you. So I'm just going to hit some highlights that I'd like to point out, and then I'll take any questions you all have. I lost my presentation. Thank you. So as the planning staff alluded, this property is off of Irish Drive, and it is surrounded on all three sides by other townhome communities already. And so this parcel is the last vacant parcel in this area that hasn't taken on this pattern of development already. And so what my client is looking to do is to rezone this property from commercial to RM to just continue the pattern of development that has already established itself in this area. And you can see by the zoning map what I'm talking about. My client's property here, C2, here at the corner, is surrounded to the east, south, and west by property that is zoned residential. To the east, that's the RM zoning district. That's the one that we are seeking. So we won't be introducing a new zoning district to the area or anything like that. We'll just be continuing that zoning district down Irish Drive. And then to the west of us is actually the city of Stonecrest. And I did go ahead and take a look at their zoning map to see where that property was zoned, and it is zoned MR1, which is similar to the RM zoning district. Sure, there's going to be some differences given the different jurisdiction, but the MR1 district and the RM district do share a lot of similarity, which is why you do see that townhome development across the jurisdictional line. So this is the site plan that we've submitted for our application. We've got a lot of amenities here. I want to point out that the minimum required open space, green space, or active space, as the county calls it, is 28,000 square feet. We are just over that. We're at 29,000 and change, so we're just exceeding that minimum requirement. But while we're doing that, we're also coming in at the bottom end of the density for this area. This property is in the mixed-use employment center land use designation, which allows upwards of 12 dwelling units per acre. We're coming in at 8, I think 7.96, which is the low end for this land use designation. So we're able to bring these homes to the area without going all the way to the high end to provide the maximum amount of impact. No, what this developer is looking to do is build out or develop this space so that it comes in at a modest impact for the area. One thing that was not mentioned is that we actually, in the middle here, we have a little playground for families who move into this community who have children, small children. They'll be able to access this playground so that they don't have to go elsewhere or make use of any amenities in the surrounding developments. Speaking of the surrounding developments, I was just checking Google Maps. I didn't see any amenities jump out at me. So this development will be kind of unique in that sense, in that we'll actually have some open space, a dog park, playground, etc. And then last but not least, we did get a copy of the planning staff's recommendations and the conditions. We were happy to see that the planning staff have recommended approval with conditions, and my client does accept each and every one of those conditions, including, Mr. Forrester, the condition that asks for the increase in parking spaces. They saw that, they said, okay, yeah, no problem, we can do that. As well as you all pointed out earlier, there's a 5% rental cap. That is in here as well, and they have accepted that condition. So these are going to be for sale units. And that is all I have for you this evening. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help.
I got a couple of questions. When you look at the other properties surrounding their property that you want to develop, when you're looking at the other properties surrounding the property you want to develop, it appears that that was a drainage or wetland for the other properties that is already developed. Is that not a correct statement?
That's not my understanding. My client has looked at this, and they're a developer. They've looked at this, and they believe that they can develop it. And when we develop it out, we will have our own dedicated stormwater management facility on site. So even if that was the case, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, but then I'm like, if you develop it and develop it and bring it up, it's gonna take away the wetland for the other properties that is already existing, so that's gonna create a problem if you do that, because you got those 3 properties, and that land use right there is for drainage. It's from my understanding, but I could be
No.
wrong, but it just appears to be that's how it's set
Sure.
up.
So that actually,
It's the runoff for the other properties already developed.
so that can't be the case because this is private property. And so what you're describing is other developments allowing their stormwater to just run onto my client's property. That's illegal. And if that's what's happening, then that needs to stop. And one of the things that we can do is by kicking off this development is, go talk to everybody around our neighbors and say, hey, your stormwater is running onto our property. You need to stop that. But while we do that, when we bring ours, we're going to ensure that we have proper stormwater management on site so that any stormwater that's coming off of our site is captured, retained, and then directed so that it is not impacting anybody downstream. I know I gave you a lot more than what you asked for, but the short answer is no, this is not drainage.
That you know of.
It can't be. It can't be. And if it is, it's illegal.
Okay, but it's just because when you look up the property, I think it was you just look at the history of the property. It was sold for $5,000. It's redeveloped. If you look up the history, which I did. So the other thing I'm concerned about is the entrance into the county. Right behind there's Rockdale County. It's the entrance into a county, and I just it is right off I-20. Me personally, because Rockdale still appears to be still deciding out what their vision is. And at the time you enter the county, you see development, surrounded by woodage. I don't think that's the development that I would prefer to see, because you already got Ellis Point, and I think it's crowded, and I think we have new leadership, and based on the reason we got new leadership because the community didn't like where we were going as a whole. And now we got another entity where we asking for development of, I don't know how many, a partial property development, and we rezoning it. And I just, for Ellis Point, for even more, homes what we already opposed to as a community. And I just thought it would be something could be developed. You can't develop it commercially. I mean, applicant. It's just, it's right into the county line. It seems like Rockdale County can find something to represent Rockdale County better than a multifamily unit by the time you get into the county.
Sure. If I could respond to that, Rockdale County does have a comprehensive plan that lays out the land use designations that it wants to see in different areas of the county. For example, across I-20, that all has an industrial land use designation. That's why you see industrial development there. On our side of I-20, where my client's property is and the surrounding property, it has a designation of mixed use employment center, which specifically says the RM zoning district, including townhomes, is what the county wants to see. And so when my client was looking for property that they wanted to develop, they found this and they saw that their vision matched the county's plan, which is why we even brought this application in the first place.
I'm sorry, that's a little confusing because current zoning now is commercial, C2 commercial, and you're asking to zone residential. So there is a change in your vision and Rockdale County vision.
Sure. So I'm not referring to the zoning. The zoning, of course, is commercial. That's why we need the rezoning. Mm-hmm. But the comprehensive plan, the overarching master plan for the county, part of that is the land use plan. And on the land use plan for this area, it's calling for what's called mixed use employment, which includes the RM district, which includes townhomes. Amongst other things, of course, but our vision fit in, and that's how it fit in, and that's why we brought the application we did.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, you're representing developer. Are they developing anywhere else within Rockdale County?
Not that I'm aware of. I think this is their first shot at it. But if that's incorrect, I'll get with them after this meeting and see if they have any examples for you to take a look at. What they did tell me, though, is that they're going to try to model themselves as much as possible off of the surrounding townhome developments that are there, so that it's in keeping both in character and price point.
What's price point are they proposing?
Well, they're not proposing a price point, so they're just the developer. They're still looking for a builder, which
So
is why
they're
they're
not
going to try to
price
model
point yet.
themselves off of what's surrounding.
Okay.
Do you know where the freshwater pond, the wetlands, and the stream are? Is it in the back of it, or you know what?
No, I'd have to take a look at the plan to see if they have it delineated on there.
I didn't really see it myself.
I don't see it. I didn't see it either. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm not sure where it is, but I can see if I can get that for you.
Is it on there? The wetlands, the red water ponds, is it on the site? Is it something we're overlooking?
The description says it's on there, but I don't see it on the picture of the map.
Kind of hard to make out of here, print. But here, let's see. Doesn't have. Let's see,
No, unfortunately, I don't think I see it on the topography map either.
Are present on property, but I was looking on this, I don't see it. But now, it does say something about stormwater, I think, right there, but I don't know.
I do see a price point, low to mid 300s.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
2 and 3 bedroom units with a price point. in the
Chairman,
low
if
to
I
mid
may.
300s.
Excuse me? I can't hear what you said.
I asked if I may
Okay,
interject, just for clarity on some things that you asked regarding the comprehensive plan and the actual future use for that particular designation mentioned mixed-use employment center. So I'll just read. So I'll just read what our comp plan states with that. That category includes residential, which is 8 to 12 residential units per 1 acre. Commercial, entertainment, and public institutional land uses. And uses should be complemented with walking, biking, and transit opportunities to provide alternative modes of transportation. Roadway improvements should carefully consider the scale of the area. So I just want to give you some information based on what the comprehensive plan indicated for that particular use designation.
Okay. Help me out here because you said eight units per acre.
8 to 12 units
8
per
to 12
acre.
units per acre. So if we're developing 8 acres, so you got 2 times 8, so that does match. No, that's 2 times 8. That's 160. How many units is that? That's what I'm trying to come up with. So if it's 8 units and it's 8 acres, so 8 times 8 is 48 units.
This plan is showing at 7.96 units per acre.
This unit's showing what?
7.96 units per acre, so right under 8.
Right up on 8. Well, why are we here? I mean, why we need to rezone it? If it meets what you need, it's up under what is requirement, why are we here? I'm confused, I'm sorry.
So right now, the current zoning is commercial. So in order for him to, if this were approved, he would have to rezone it to some type of residential zoning use.
Okay, but I misunderstood, but I thought you just got up and said it's our future land use map is already.
That's the future land use
It
map.
does, because it doesn't reference the future land use map here.
Future land use based on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so we don't have to change that. We just have to change the rezoning.
Yes, you would have to just change the zoning.
Okay,
But
not
the
future land use
comprehensive
map.
plan, the future land use map is designated with the comprehensive plan speaks for that particular area's mixed-use employment center.
Okay. But, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just going one more question, I'm just sorry. If it's 8 units per acre, so 8 times 8 is somebody help me out, 62, right? 64. So why he's proposing more units than what?
He's proposing actually less.
What
It's
is it?
7.49.
So what's the total units that he's been proposing?
70 units. Yes.
It can go up to 12 units.
It can go up to
based
12.
on this designation.
He's proposing 70 or 75.
70.
70.
It's 70 units.
Okay. All right. I see. Okay. So, okay. Okay. All right, let me go to that page. What page number is that? Right here. It's not you. Okay, I saw that page though. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Any more questions? Are there any more questions?
No.
Okay.
I covered it well, didn't I? Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Discussion. Any discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Well, okay, no speakers for that. Okay. So if there's no discussion, we'll entertain the motion for this item, R5 REZ 202507. And there any second on this motion?
Is there a motion?
Yes, anyone entertain a motion? That's it. Second. Anybody entertain a motion? That I introduced the motion for this item.
I make a motion to deny.
I second.
Make a motion to deny the request to rezone. It's zone commercial, and the density there is already there in 70 lot townhome community. Would add more density there, and it's already zone commercial, so it's zoned for development. And so I didn't really see a reason to rezone to add more residential.
So we have a motion for denial, or any second for that motion to deny?
I second because I think it overpopulate the area based upon what's already existing in the area. That's my reasoning.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. Anyone in favor of this item?
I approve. I would have approved it myself.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think of the way to say it. I would approve this, so I would object to the denial.
Well, we can discuss and then have a vote on the motion.
Okay. All right.
So we'll have a discussion for this.
Is there any discussion?
Are there any discussion?
I just, based my thought process, like I said, when you go by that at Ellis Point, it's coming into Rockdale County, it's already overdeveloped. Why would you oppose denial? I don't know what
Because it's likes with likes. There's to the east and to the west and to the south, there's already the same thing.
Yeah, but based on the statement.
They did not say that it would be it wouldn't be a problem with fire, sewer, and water. Everything is okay.
but I guess I've been on the board for a while.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know what we've approved. I know what's in the pipeline. It has to impact the school. It has to impact the
It's
infrastructure.
under they're not maxed out. It's under the limits.
Yeah, that's current capacity, but as I said earlier today, we
I'm
need to
just-
take in consideration.
Just going by
what's-
the facts that was in front of me, I think it would seem okay.
Okay, yeah. And I guess based on the facts in front of me too, it's already populated. It's already
That's
overpopulated.
definitely true. It's
Mhm.
populated. That's a popular.
And that's my argument. It's already populated.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, or if there's no further discussion, we'll close the discussion at this time, and we'll go for a vote. So, all in favor of this item, signify.
Deny.
Rather signify, which is the motion. Anybody opposed or deny or signify by saying yes. All in favor.
All in favor of the motion to deny?
Okay, all in favor of the motion to deny.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so we have, so the majority carry.
What's your vote?
In favor of denial.
Yes, so the majority is in favor of denial, and so this item has been denied. We have three denials and one.
You got to vote too.
Yes,
40 now.
and so I am in favor of denial also.
Let's try and wrap this up before we lose connection. So our last two items are two preliminary plats. So the first one is PP 24-0166, and this is a preliminary plat for Belgrave Park subdivision. It's on Highway 138. The applicant is Patrick and Associates. We have Mark here representing them. Just so you all aware, these preliminary plats have gone through the review process, and each apartment has signed off on it already. So generally, this is just a formality to get your votes. However, we do have someone in the audience that would like to speak on one of these preliminary plats. Is it this one? Six? Okay, so we'll kind of wait to vote and hear from Miss Charlotte, Miss Gilbert, and then you can do your vote. Or if Mark wants to present anything about it, so that. Okay, Miss Gilbert.
Thank you, Charlotte Gellert, 2871 Country Club Court, Conyers. That's off Salem Road, Highway 162, which is getting widened to 4 lanes. I signed up to be opposed to this because I sent an email asking for some more information on it, and I didn't get a response to the email. It doesn't say, and there was nothing on the website as backup for this item. It doesn't say how many units there are. It was formerly known as Grove Park. It's 353 acres. I also asked what was the original rezoning and or future land use case number, and I didn't get that answer either. It may have been done in 2022. I just wanted more information because that's a lot of acres. And is it townhomes? Is it single family? Is it CRS? And I didn't hear Ms. Tugman explain how many. I see a picture, which I don't believe was on the website, but I still don't know how many units. So, and also, even though I didn't make a comment, I also did an email for the next item that also says it's 353.04 acres, similar to R6. However, Q Public says that that parcel number is only 74.36 acres. So typo, misinformation, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to get some clarity and some more information. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I won't speak too long, I promise. I'm Mark Walton with Patrick & Associates Surveyors, and hopefully when I unroll this big drawing, I can answer some of the citizens' questions here. This was rezoned at the end of last year. It was rezoned to CRS, but the density was limited to the same as AR. So we have a 1 lot per acre. Oop. That wasn't a lie, I swear. It's a 1 lot per acre density, the same as AR. But this property has a lot of natural features, and I don't know how to do this, I'm speaking to the mic. But there's a nice ridge through the middle of the property. Off to the one side, there's a big pond. Up there, there's a pond. So what we did is we clustered the density, and so it still has the 1 unit per acre density. And then if I have one of those back, I can read to you the number of lots. I think the total number of lots is 188 lots. And somewhere on here is another chart. Yeah, 188 lots. The total site area is 230 acres. Yes, and this particular phase is 158 acres. So the next phase would be located to the north, and this will probably last a long time.
So AR, I thought it was an acre per home.
And what I said is it was restricted to the density of AR. But we got the CRS zoning at the end of last year. I think you heard this case with the former board. But it was zoned.
My friends haven't though.
Yes, the new commissioners have not. It was rezoned to CRS, and what that allowed them to do was to do smaller lots and sort of cluster them in the middle. And there's a huge green space provided all the way around this development. So that's probably 1,000 feet to the neighbor there. The house is there. That's probably 500 feet there. 1,200 feet there, so everything is sort of centrally located.
Does that show how many, the distance between the homes, or is that like a 0 lot line?
You're going to make me try to read that. I believe that the minimum lot width is 70 feet. And you would probably have a 50-foot wide home, so that would be 20 feet between homes.
What's the square footage? What's the square footage of the homes?
There is a zoning minimum that I think is 1,800 or 2,000 square feet. I'm not sure off the top of my head, sir.
18.
The minimum
1800
house
square-
size.
This was brought back because they had to make an adjustment from what they did.
I thought it was 1,800, but
Density plans.
yes, CRS. Yes, sir. And I'm just here to answer questions. So if you want me to sit down and shut up, I'll gladly do it.
Could you just go to my truck and get my umbrella for me?
What I'm really concerned is hopefully y'all approve it and it gets signed, and I got to get this back to my car without getting wet because I've got to scan it to provide the county copies. So.
So we're just looking for a vote to, so that the chairman can sign or not sign after.
Okay. Okay, are there any more discussion? Okay, we'll entertain a motion for this item to be passed.
I'm going to pass this item number PP 24-01. I move to pass item number PP 24-0166.
I second.
Okay, are there any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, all in favor of this item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So this item's passed.
Okay, so the last item is, again, another preliminary plat, and this is on South Ridge subdivision. It's on Highway 212. Again, Mark is here to represent Patrick's and Associate. Proposed zoning is R1, and they have some conditions in place from way back in 1999. This is the sixth unit. They've already had 1 to 5 built already, with 138 lots or homes. And this one is proposing lots 150 to 200, so 50 more lots on this phase. So Mark, you're up.
I just was wondering, Charlotte had a question regarding the size. Is it 74 acres or is it the typo like she was saying? Is it 74 acres or 353 acres? She had brought that.
This unit would just be in the 70-acre range.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Actually, it is 58.74 acres.
58.7.
So a little less than 60 acres.
All right, thank you.
And we're proposing 50 houses, 50 lots. The minimum lot size has to be 30,000 square feet to meet zoning, which is 3/4 of an acre roughly. And most of these lots are larger than that because we also have to have a certain amount of good soils. So this will be an extension of Southridge subdivision that started at the turn of the century. And we finally have arrived at the last phase. And it's very close to the monastery to put y'all, give you a frame of reference.
So what would if you already have existing units and lots there, that was done in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? How would the elevations differ from what they have then to now? Is there a blend between the two?
House prices will be a lot more, but it is actually, it didn't all develop that day. It's developed throughout the years. The last couple of houses were built in 2023, I believe. And then the developer finally, this was originally excluded because this was the Hicks farm and they still had buildings and stuff up there, and they finally have decided it's time to develop this last unit.
Are you one of the builders or the architectural design?
I'm the engineer, surveying and engineering. So we'll design the roads with the cuts and the fills and the detention ponds, and we'll set the property corners. and then a builder will build.
Understood.
So this is directly across from the church, that's still farmland there, down the street from the other development, or?
No, it's, I think, if you're on 212 and you're looking towards the monastery that way, monastery would be on your left, this will be to your right.
Okay.
You might remember Say Farms, the rezoning that's down 212 at Oglesby Bridge.
Okay,
We're
it's
halfway
further down
between the
that way.
monastery and Oglesby
Okay.
Bridge. And Kroll Road is close to it. But it's just right now there's a big old paved driveway with a big gate that's falling apart. It's been that way for 20 years now.
Okay. Any more discussion?
No.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, would entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion to approve PP 24-0162.
I second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? There's no discussion. We'll move for a vote on this item. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, next stating nay. Okay. Item passed.
Okay. Item passed.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead now. Someone make a motion that the meeting be adjourned at this time. Okay.